Welcome to Things Around 8. Dear friends, in this video we will talk about how a possible government led by Marine Le Pen's party in France could affect the European defense effort for Ukraine. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any news. On Sunday, June 30th, in the first round of the legislative elections in France, Marine Le Pen's National Rally Party made historic gains, reaching nearly 34% of the vote, with the centrist and left-wing ticket, led by Emmanuel Macron, coming out with a big defeat on the night. We still have to wait for the second round, which will take place next Sunday, July 7th, to confirm the exact number of seats in Parliament. But confirmation of Le Pen's victory is taken for granted. This leaves an important question in the air. With this strong shift to the right and with the French Parliament in the hands of a party known for its pro-Russian stance, what could change in France's support for Ukrainian defense? A few weeks before the start of the Russian invasion of Ukraine in 2022, French President Emmanuel Macron was one of the greatest exponents of the diplomatic effort to avoid conflict, resulting in comical situations, such as the famous long table, when Putin received Macron at the Kremlin at a table measuring over 4 meters, just 2 weeks before launching his invasion of Ukraine. All of Macron's efforts were obviously futile, with Putin already fully determined to invade his neighbor, leaving the French president in a weakened position internally and externally, and even being seen as excessively naive and easily manipulated by Putin. This attempt at mediation by Macron, compared by many to a policy of appeasement carried out by Chamberlain with Hitler in 1938 in a vain attempt to avoid war, left, according to sources close to him, a deep mark and even a sincere resentment on Macron, leading him to completely change his stance and discourse. If before the war, Macron was the ultimate exponent of diplomatic mediation, after the war began, the French president underwent a profound transformation, gradually positioning himself as one of the greatest promoters of Ukrainian defense. This resulted in the sending of increasingly advanced weapon systems, such as the Caesar missile and the long-range Scalp missiles, the French version of the British Storm Shadow, a missile that Ukraine has been using very successfully against Russian positions in the rear, mainly in Crimea. And at the end of February 2024, at an event in Paris bringing together Ukraine's allies, Macron surprised the world by saying that in order to guarantee Ukraine's victory, no option could be taken off the table, which even included sending French soldiers and those of other allied nations directly to war. This statement generated a veritable tsunami, with several countries such as Germany and the United States rushing to say that they were not even considering the possibility of sending troops to Ukraine in the future. But other countries, especially in the Baltics, have echoed Macron's words, saying that no option should be ruled out to ensure Russia's defeat, including sending European soldiers to support missions such as training and border policing. Macron's statements have obviously been met with disapproval from the French opposition, which is mainly made up of right-wing parties, with Marine Le Pen's party being the most vocal in its criticism, with senior members, notably Jordan Bardella, the likely next French Prime Minister, even saying that they will draw a red line to prevent Macron from further extending France's financial and military commitment to Ukraine's defense, which includes, of course, a ban on sending soldiers to the conflict. But can Le Pen's party effectively block Macron's effort to support Ukraine's defense? In the French semi-presidential system, the Prime Minister, still represented by Gabriel Attal, is more dedicated to internal issues with the President, in this case Emmanuel Macron, and is more responsible for external issues and defense matters, since the French President is also the supreme commander of the armed forces. This means that, in principle, Le Pen's party in Parliament would not be able to prevent some of Macron's measures, such as, for example, the sending of ammunition, weapons and even, in the extreme, the sending of French troops to Ukraine, since, as I mentioned, the supreme commander of the armed forces is the President. However, it is Parliament that releases the funds, which means that Le Pen's party will now have the key to the safe and will therefore be able to indirectly interfere in Macron's efforts to support Ukraine's defense by blocking or delaying the approval of the funds needed to send weapons, ammunition and, in the extreme, the sending of troops. It is important to note that Marine Le Pen's stance on Russia and Putin has changed a lot in recent years, with Jordan Bardella himself, the very likely next French Prime Minister, also recently declaring that he will maintain French support in the defense of Ukraine. However, Both Le Pen and Bardella have made it clear that the extension of this aid and especially the sending of French troops to Ukraine is something that they will contest and prevent at all costs. Therefore, at least initially, the current level of French support will not be greatly affected, but expanding this support seems to be out of the question for Le Pen's party. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any news.